We all come into this world like a new and unused a pencil. A number two. That's flat on the bottom, an eraser that looks pristine, never been used before by anybody. Slowly that pencil begins to be used as you start to write out your life story for you. At the beginning stage, with each growth spurt, it's like the tip of the pencil gets sharpened just a little bit. Every day, put in the pencil sharpener of life at these early learning stages. As we learn and we grow and we try something new, from birth, especially during those terrible twos, where you try daily to push yourself and your boundaries. With the capabilities, you realize the things you can do. As you get sharper every day, as the brain is like a sponge absorbing everything you see around you. You still have this eraser at the tip that's barely been touched because you're so little, you have no regrets. Maybe just the feeling from the grown-ups around you that what you are doing is right or wrong, but you always try something new as you're too little to know any differently. Suddenly you turn 3. Everything is this why phase with everything that you see. The questions of everything and how it works around you, the curiosity. Why is the sky blue? You ask these questions daily, the whys. It's a bit like a Polly Parrot phase for the adults who take that time to teach. The patience for this little human who just has this knack for learning from the grown-ups they see while they question the ways that people work, what people say and do. Start to use that number 2 pencil you came into this world with to write your story. These are coincidentally the stages where one can be fostered for their autonomy in life. How much does your grown-up allow you to explore the world around you? Because let's face it, everything to this little human is so new and exciting. They want to learn. They want to reach the highest mountaintops that you drive by on the streets. And what's funny is some of those mountaintops might just be molehills to you, but this is their first time seeing the world around them. So they want to see and they want to use that number 2 and write practically color inside this phase of their story. They can't even write yet, but they see your capabilities, so they grab that paper and use their pencil to try to pretend that they too can do what you do. They'll pretend like they're a doctor, make that to-do list for the task for groceries, and they copy. They don't even know how to hold that pencil properly. Those little fingers are so cute. So they just palm grip the pencil and color outside the lines with everything that they do. Their freshly new tip that they used to learn from those beginning stages is now a little bit dull, but they see this pencil sharpener to refresh the pencil tip to continue writing out their story. They don't even understand that this is what they do. Soon they are in preschool writing out their ABCs and numbers. 1, 2. You see where I'm going with this. They still don't carry any animosity or regrets. Barely have an understanding of strangers and what people can do. As we, the grown-ups, are more aware to be vigilant of the world around you. So they keep trying and trying daily. Use that number 2 pencil, still a fresh eraser, like they can't even see it. But they know no matter how much they write, they have the ability to choose to sharpen that pencil a little more daily. Doesn't matter if it's an electric or hand-turned sharpener, they just know they want to use it. Time in life continues to go by daily. Maybe you are a bit older and you start to experience harder moments with people, especially other kids in school, and teachers, grown-ups, principals, sports teams. There even may be some embarrassing moments that you wish you could erase. Oh wait, what is this I see? The eraser that's barely ever been used. You just thought it was an accessory on your number 2, so you start to form your I'm sorries to people you hurt or fix up your story. As this number 2 gets used every day from friendships as a kid to high school prom days. Maybe as a teen, you just are now erasing like a maniac, thinking everything you do, say, see is stupid. How could I be such a fool? Remember, we are the hardest on ourselves versus what anyone else thinks what we say or do. Maybe you wanted to ask out that cutie who sits next to you in class, but you feel like you said the dumbest thing, and now all you want to do is erase that slate clean. Or you fell and you tripped and you looked like a fool while everyone laughed instead of helping you. That eraser starts to look dirty. You were using it every day in these learning phases, but everything's a learning phase to me. But the pressure on the eraser that you press down to try to change what you've been through has the eraser breaking down to the metal part. While you erase, what you see are the metal streaks that create gray lines on the white paper you used. No eraser. You still have this sharp tip on the other end, but we get so focused on what others think of us in society. Makes you angry. You feel this rage inside. You're wondering, how am I going to even continue to write my story if I don't even have an eraser? But I still have this number 2 pencil with me in life. Suddenly it hits you. You can buy a new eraser, and then you can feel like a new human. So now you are whistling down the street like you are a little kid with no worries, realizing you have the ability to reuse this pencil in your life for your story and your truth. Watch out! You just slipped in a ditch that's deep. You were looking up at the clouds while you were whistling down the street. With this pencil in your pocket, you didn't realize you lost the newly bought eraser that you just got for your number 2. Oh my God, no! You look down and you can't believe it. How is this possible when you had just bought it and you thought it was the perfect idea to fix that number 2 pencil that still works so well, just lacks the erasing ability? To erase whatever you've been through, and you feel frustrated. You walk home just as angry as before you bought that eraser for your number 2. Maybe when you get home, someone close to you sees that you look like you're having a tough time and they reach out and ask you, "Hey, what's going on? You don't look so happy." You don't even know where to begin, but you blurt it all out since you can't hold it in and you can't believe. And you even start from the beginning of your life after they ask you, so they have context of your truth and your story. Well, first, it started when I realized I had this number 2. And I've carried it around with me since I was a baby. Gosh, I've even taken it nearly everywhere with me, but I've used it all the time. So of course I've made some mistakes in my life. And it wasn't until actually I was a bit older that I did see that I had this eraser on the top. So I started using it. But honestly, I used it so many times that I sort of drowned out the realities of my life because I erased and I chose not to see. Like I was so many moments away. And then suddenly I looked down at my precious number 2. Have you ever had this stuffed animal that you carried with you every day to sleep, but it starts to get worn out? And so eventually you have to put it away and say, it's time for a change. Well, sort of like that, but except for me, it's a number 2, but instead of a stuffy. So back to my story. I ended up buying a new eraser. Can you believe that I didn't even know that this was a possibility, but I saw someone else's number 2 and they had this cool eraser on top. So I thought this is the perfect idea to change up my number 2. So I bought one, I walked home, and then suddenly I didn't even see the root of a tree. It was sticking up on the sidewalk and I tripped. And you know what that made me do? It made me lose the eraser that I just bought for my number 2, and I don't even know where it went. It was like I had this pencil in my pocket, and after I tripped, I was so angry that I tried and I looked around, but I couldn't even see where it went. I got so frustrated, I quit looking for the eraser that it went so perfectly with my number 2. Holy shit. You just said it. You let it all out. You hadn't even told anyone your story or the struggles that you had been through. How much you had erased in your mind you actually forgot, and you forgot bits and pieces from your story and your timeline. That lending ear just looks at you, and it's this gentle reminder in life that there is no erasing but acknowledging those hard times. Even those hard journeys, the tough times, moments, and people. Maybe this was a sign from the universe to you that you will always continue to write that story. But erasers, who needs them? You can't even use them in life. Yeah, we want to, that much is true. But that doesn't fix anything, just avoiding those hard times, when they can be learning phases for you to proceed. And you start to think, I never thought of it that way. Suddenly, you feel this sigh of relief. There's no perfection from anyone, especially in this life on Earth school that we lead. Not one person is perfect, and we all come into this world with a story and a number two. Maybe you just had to talk it out. Sometimes talking to yourself about what you were going through doesn't give you much clarity. I mean, it's your thoughts bouncing off of your thoughts without any other perspectives from other people. And doesn't mean what everyone else says is true or right, but sometimes it just might give you the advice that you didn't quite think of in a new view. Suddenly that worn out looking eraser on your pencil doesn't look so bad, and a grin comes over your face. Thank you. That sigh, yeah, I get it look that one might see. Don't try to run and hide from what you've been through. Use that pencil sharpener of life and reuse that number two daily. Because even when it's small and you are an older human, you wrote out more stories of all the accomplishments and slip-ups that you've been through. But now you have this tiny little lead pencil in your hand, which looks like a mountain compared to the size of the pencil that you used to see. But you used it and you continued to write your story, didn't you? That's all that matters. And every time that tip broke or got dull, you continued to sharpen that pencil in the pencil sharpener of life. Your number two trail maker, classic yellow, for your story in your life. I love you.